The release of Mario Kart World brought a massive amount of new characters and enemies previously unplayable in any other game. One of those enemies was the infamous crustacean Sidestepper. Now you're probably thinking, who cares about this guy? What does this guy even add to games? How does he even drive a vehicle? And that's what I want to go into in this video. So Sidestepper has actually been a popular enemy that Nintendo's continuously added into their games for a while now. But to find the very exact origin story of this coast camping Carapace, we got to go back to the ancient time of 1983, where on June 21st, Nintendo released a brand new title for the NES. Mario Bros. The Sidestepper was one of the 4 enemies included in Mario Bros, and since then has remained as a favorable enemy, not only for his simplistic design, but also for being flawlessly versatile. Got a long, sprawling open area? Crab. A close, small space requiring absolute precision? Crab. Whatever this is? Crab. The thing about Sidestepper is that he seems to go unnoticed in so many games, and that got me thinking, is that necessarily a bad thing? Sidestepper fits so effortlessly into each game that you don't even notice if he's there or not. Sometimes it's easier to find the flaw of a bad enemy because they stick out like a sore thumb, but when an enemy is implemented so seamlessly, it's easy to completely ignore their existence, and to me, that's good game design. Now, technically, Sidestepper's next appearance is a game called Punch Bowl Mario Bros. However, from what I've researched, this is pretty similar to the previous game, but instead of headbutting the platforms, Mario now defeats enemies by throwing a ball into them. Moving on to Nintendo's first stereoscopic game, Mario Clash. Mario Clash was a new idea brought to life by the Virtual Boy, Nintendo's 3rd portable video game console, and possibly their most controversial one at that. The game, however, is an upgrade from the last, giving you the option to choose from 2 sides of a chasm, where your only weapon is Koopa shells that you throw sideways or long ways over the gap. The pipes allow you to transport to different planes of the level, moving you closer or further away from the screen. Up next we got Battle Mode and Battle Game for Super Mario All-Stars and Super Mario Bros. 3. These games are also heavily derived from the original Mario Bros. Games. Battle Game is the minigame that's available on the Super Mario Bros. All-Star version of the Super Mario Bros. 3 main menu, where the goal is to survive while defeating all 5 enemies. Each enemy defeated will spawn a coin from a pipe, and to win the round you must collect 5 coins or be the last one alive. However, in the older version of Super Mario Bros. 3, the minigame is called Battle Mode, and it has a different set of enemies depending on the number round it is. For instance, the 3rd round will spawn Spinies and Fighter Flies, and the 4th round spawns Spinies and Sidesteppers. In this mode though, coins do not spawn from pipes after an enemy is defeated. Rather, the point just goes straight to whoever defeated it. Now, turning to Super Mario Bros. Special. Sidestepper shows up in World 4-2, making it their first time in a main story game level rather than a minigame-esque environment, showing that Nintendo hadn't forgot about it. They also show up in World 5-2, 7-3, 8-1, and 8-3. This next franchise, to me, is where I personally experienced the endearing wrath of Sidestepper the most, and that is Mario Kart. The Sideways Soldier appears in more than half of the series, with the majority of his showings in beachy environment tracks. To begin with, we make our way to Super Circuit, but real quick, let's listen to the main menu. Damn, that's clean. Shy Guy Beach is the first track they appear on, which is the 2nd track in the Mushroom Cup, and Cheep Cheep Island is the 2nd, sitting as the 3rd track in the Lightning Cup. Shy Guy Beach begins with a short straightaway, followed by a sharp left turn, where we run into our feisty friends. We then get another straightaway with a set of item boxes, followed by an island covered with an army of 4 Sidesteppers, and also a little island with 1. Overall, there's 7 Sidesteppers roaming Shy Guy Beach. Moving on to Cheep Cheep Island, the track commences with racers driving over a bridge into a left turn, driving over another ziggy-zaggy bridge to an island where 2 Sidesteppers lurk. You then drive over a 3rd bridge, which is followed by another left turn. Racers then drive past 2 more, and then the final one of the track, who seems to be defending yet another bridge, totaling 13 Sidesteppers throughout all of Super Circuit, 7 in Shy Guy Beach and 6 in Cheep Cheep Island. Nintendo didn't add any tracks with Sidestepper into Double Dash, but he returns in DS on Cheep Cheep Beach and the new Battle Course. Palm Shore. Cheep Cheep Beach opens with racers driving onto a boardwalk where they then jump off via a large boost panel. They then follow a sand path with sidesteppers scattered all around and end the race through a jungle. The sidesteppers make a very small appearance with only 4 spawns, but make up for it in the battle course Palm Shore. The mission is to use Yoshi to defeat 20 crabs with bob-ombs and green shells within 120 seconds. Something I noticed was that the level number that this mission falls on is 4-2, which, if you remember earlier, was actually the first level on Super Mario Bros. Special, which was where they first appeared in a main game. It may just be a crazy coincidence, but I thought it was interesting. Next, we have Mario Kart Wii on the Wii.
Mario Kart Wii! Woohoo!
Which for me is my most played and fondest memory of Mario Kart. However, the only track sidesteppers appear on is a remake of their debut track, Shy Guy Beach. It's identically laid out to its predecessor, but includes 8 sidesteppers as opposed to the previous 7. During the period where online play was available before the servers shut down, Nintendo had added a competition tournament mode, which allowed players to play special missions on new and customized versions of tracks. In August of 2009, Tournament 31 would require the player to knock out the sidesteppers on a small blocked off section of Shy Guy Beach, with basically the exact same rules as the mission on the DS. However, in this one, you aim to defeat 30 instead of 20. With Mario Kart 7 on the 3DS bringing the ability to drive underwater, it gave even more opportunities to implement Sidestepper as a viable enemy. He's placed in 4 tracks, with those being Cheep Cheep Lagoon, Koopa Troopa Beach, Wario Shipyard, and the returning battle course Palm Shore. In Cheep Cheep Lagoon, there are 2 sidesteppers near the end of the track once you jump into the water off this ramp. In Koopa Troopa Beach, we find the first sidestepper just after passing the giant turtle rock, whose sole existence seems to be to make getting on this boost ramp a bit trickier. The next 2 are hiding in this water that can be driven through to cut off a bit of the track. And the final 3 are placed here right before the finish line. Wario Shipyard, the same as Cheep Cheep Lagoon, includes only 2 sidesteppers. As you complete this turn and enter the water, they're scurrying back and forth. I won't go into too much detail with Palm Shore because it's pretty much the same as on the DS, with the exception that instead of it being a mission, it's only selectable for battle mode. Mario Kart 8 brings back Cheep Cheep Beach with a remake very true to the DS version. The sidesteppers have been kept for the underwater sections, and 2 more have replaced the beach Cheep Cheeps at the jungle entrance. In Deluxe's DLC contains 3 tracks where sidestepper appears: Yoshi's Island, Bangkok Rush, and Los Angeles Laps. They sit here in Yoshi's Island, here in Bangkok Rush, and in Los Angeles Laps there's 1 here at the beginning and only 2 here, as opposed to the tour version which has 3. And of course, World, debuting as a playable character. Sidestepper is a very lightweight character, meaning a high acceleration and handling at the cost of lower speed and weight. He is also able to drive somehow, and also for some reason whenever he drives into a pipe he explodes. So I'm not very fond of turn-based games, so I've never really had an interest to play Mario Luigi Superstar Saga. But I did some research and I found out it does in fact include a sidestepper against a giant hermit crab boss named Hermie 3. In the fight, you can't actually interact with the sidesteppers, but they can be seen speeding through in the background. Now, I loved Mario Power Tennis on the Wii. I loved the roster of characters I had never been able to play. I loved how each character had their own special power shot, and of course the courts. Well, most of them. So you got your classic grass, clay, and hard court, but it wouldn't be a Nintendo game without some sort of creative, out-of-the-box enhancement that they brought with the gimmick courts. Delfino Plaza Court has piranha plants that shoot mud on the court, and the only way to get rid of it is by running over a flood circle. Luigi's Mansion spawns ghosts when hitting floor panels, which quickly just becomes completely unplayable. Wario Factory has arrows above the net that change the conveyor belt directions, but it also includes 2 unlockable courts: Bowser Castle Court and Mario Classic Court. Mario Classic Court is based off the Mario Bros game, so naturally it includes sidesteppers, along with shell creepers, fighter flies, and freezies appearing on the court, who block and freeze you if you run into them, but they can be knocked over by hitting the power block above the net. Another one of my favorite games growing up was Smash Bros, where sidestepper is present in the stage Mario Bros. It's an identical recreation of the stage as it appeared in the original game. Because of its low, sprawling platforms, it's basically impossible to KO someone from the top of the stage. So sidesteppers need to be utilized to get the job done. Sidesteppers also have their own trophy and sticker to unlock in Brawl and Wii U, along with a support spirit in Ultimate's World of Light campaign. Bringing us to our last game, Paper Mario Origami King. Sidesteppers appear in red and blue in this game. They're commonly found in the Water Elemental Shrine, the Ice Elemental Mountain, the Sea Tower, the Question Mark Island, and finally on the Crescent Moon Island. Their claws act like spikes, requiring iron boots to jump on them, although other weapons like hammers do big damage to them too. So, that's the history of Sidestepper. But I also wanted to give a few honorable mentions to some of the games that I didn't think were worth going into, but interesting nonetheless. First is Luigi Bros. It was a remake of Mario Bros, but has Luigi as the main character in honor of Year Luigi, and it's only accessible in Super Mario 3D World after completing the game, or if the player has save data for New Super Luigi U. Second, in Mario Kart 64's Koopa Troopa Beach, it includes crabs just like the Mario Kart 7 remake, although their 64 design doesn't resemble a Sidestepper as prominently as the remake. Third is Mario Maker, and this just includes a costume of Sidestepper. Fourth is Super Mario Party, in the minigame Smash and Crab, where the team of 3 control a crab in an attempt to smash the solo player with hammers. And finally is the Mario movie cameo, where it mentions underground crabs in the news broadcast. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if I missed anything. This is quite different to any video I've ever made, so any criticism is appreciated. Be sure to like if you liked, or dislike if you disliked it, and sub if you want to see more of this kind of content. But other than that, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you later.